What's going on, peeps? Welcome back to this week's video. Now, before you run down to the comments and tell me how I'm such a horrible person for missing last week's video, hear me out for a second. Number one, I was at Playlist Live over the weekend. I had the time of my life. It was so freaking amazing. If I met you, thank you for coming up to say hi. Thank you to Playlist, everyone who puts it on, my network full screen for even getting me there. It was just a crazy, hectic, surreal weekend. And number two, the week after that, the hotel I was staying at in Florida had zero Wi-Fi, so yeah. But this week, we are officially back, stronger than ever, because I think it might have been a blessing in disguise that I couldn't upload last week. The video I was planning on doing is going to be the first video in a brand new series I'm going to be bringing to the channel starting next Sunday. Mark your calendars, next Sunday, the 28th, an entirely brand new series I've never done before on this channel is starting up. These Thursday videos, the Buzzfeed tests, will remain the same, so don't freak out. But that is all the news and updates I have for you. Let's just get into this week's recipe. A ton of you have been suggesting that I try Katy Perry's cherry pie, and this thing looks freaking great. Thank you to all of you that have been suggesting it to me. Let's get right into it. Now, as we know, in the past, Tasty sometimes fabricates the way their recipes come out a little bit, but this is Katy Perry today. I mean, she has to be trustworthy. It has to come out good like hers, right? We will see. So just grab some flour and cornstarch, some ice water and granulated sugar, a ton of cherries, and let's just say you're gonna need a lot of butter for this one. No, I kinda didn't realize as I was buying these cherries in the store, but the first step today is going to be to pit every single one of them. I first tried this straw method. It kinda sorta worked. It took a while though, and my straw kept bending and cracking, so let's move on to number two, where you basically take a sharp paring knife, cut it in half around the pit, much like an avocado, twist, and just remove the pit. So I decided to stick to that method because I figured it would go the quickest, and because I was gonna end up having to cut the cherries in half anyways. Also, huge shout out to my friend's mother who bought me these new knives. So all of you who have been commenting how dull or old my knives look, you can thank my friend's mother. Thank you, Miss Frobrick. I like you more than your daughters. I'm gonna be hearing about that one the second this video goes up. But anyway, once you have seeded and cut in half 6 cups of your cherries, you can set those aside for now as we begin to work on the crust. This is a super simple crust recipe that if it comes out good, I'll definitely be making it again in the future. All you have to do is sift out 2.5 cups of your flour and then add in 2.5 sticks of butter. I know this seems like a lot, but you kind of need it. Mash those two ingredients into each other and then finish it off with a 1/2 cup of that ice cold water. I actually think I could have added a little bit less water just because of how well binded it was before I added it. But either way, it came out pretty good. You're just gonna wanna split the ball in half, pound them out, wrap them in some plastic wrap, and set them off in the fridge to set up as we prepare the middle of the pie. So over to the stovetop we go. Start with 3 tablespoons of salted butter and melt that down over medium heat. Next, add in 3/4 of a cup of your white sugar and mix them in. Now, I think I might have cooked this sugar a bit too long because I started to see some brown spots. There was really no specific timing or directions on the Tasty video for this one. I'm not sure why, but just keep a close eye on yours. Once that mixture is bubbling away, you can add in your 6 cups of the cherries that you pitted. And believe me when I tell you, these cherries are gonna produce an absolute ton of liquid. And it may seem a little bit runny, so conveniently, the next step is to grab 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, 2 tablespoons of water, mix that until the cornstarch dissolves, and then add it over your cherries. This will hopefully bind all of that juice up so it's not as runny in your pie. After a couple more minutes of cooking down your cherries, you just want to take them off your heat and let them cool as we prepare the crust. Throw down some flour onto a clean surface and one at a time roll out your 2 crusts. Shockingly, this is actually already looking better than the store-bought ones, and it's not filled with 100 chemicals, so that's another plus. You just want to take your bottom crust and throw it down into the pie tray. Ignore the fact that this says apple pie. Load up your pie dish with your cherry mixture, and then once you've got your second ball of dough rolled out, you want to cut strips up to make a woven pattern across the top. Admittedly, I kind of had to watch the video over like 5 times just to see the pattern and how she actually did it. I eventually figured it out though, and in my opinion, this is looking pretty good, especially after I trimmed off all the excess dough around the outside. All you have to do now is throw it into a 375-degree oven for an entire hour. Just make sure your crust is nicely browned across the top and your mixture is bubbling. And wow, this looks amazing. As good as it looks though, when I cut into it, it kind of fell apart a little bit. You can call this a cherry soup at this point. I'm hoping it's just a little bit too hot, and once it cools, it'll be better, but we will see. Okay, thankfully I was right. It's a couple hours later, and this actually stayed together really well. I don't know if you can see. And above all else, I am thoroughly impressed with this crust because, like I said, it's so simple. I didn't know you can make a pie crust that easy. And it's definitely looking good overall. So, I haven't eaten a ton of cherry pie in my life. I prefer like pumpkin and apple and that kind of stuff. But this is so good. The cherries are cooked down absolutely perfectly. It's not overly sweet or like gloopy or slimy like some of the store-bought pies are sometimes. And even as liquidy as it was at first when I cut it, the pie crust on the bottom is like perfectly cooked. It's not soggy at all. This has to be like one of the best pies I've ever eaten in my entire life. I have to give this a 10. Hope you guys enjoyed this week's video. If you did, leave a like for me. Can we hit 4,005? Make sure to follow me on all my social media. Those links are down in the description. The original video link is in the description as well. Guys, I'm so excited for next week. I cannot even put into words. I've wanted to do a new series for so long, but you guys are gonna have to wait until next week to see. Other than that, have an awesome rest of your week, and I'll see you right back here then.